Islington's queer history. Wider Islington LGBTQIA plus history project video 12. The Bill Murray pub. This is at 39 Queen's Head Street, London N1 8NQ. It's very close to Angel Station. Very close. It's within about 10 minutes walk, a little along Essex Road from Islington Green. And then there's a sort of footpath that turns into a street called Queen's Head Street. It's by the Queen's Head pub. And you'll find it down there. I think I've just more or less been along every street in Islington. There's very few streets that I've found that are new to me because I've been living here more than 30 years now. So I was surprised when I watched a video recently by London Metropolitan University about looking into queer history from their perspective, and I'll post a link because it's again inspirational, and I'd like to go to the venues they've mentioned in their videos. But one of them was Angel Comedy Club, and I thought, wow, I've not seen that. I've not seen this the sort of the front of this pub. I mean, it had another name before the Bill Murray pub. It was called the Mucky Pub, and before that, it was called the Ram. And having a look at Islington's Pride Heritage Map, it's called the Ram on that. This is a few years back, around 2017. But when I looked into the history of this, it's I think pub names do change a lot, and this did change about 2017. So I looked at angelcomedy.co.uk just to find out a little bit more about what exactly it is. I mean, why call a pub the Bill Murray? I guess I was thinking the well-known actor from Ghostbusters and St. Vincent, I remember 2014, and quite a few other films. Oh gosh, Lost in Translation 2003. So I've seen him in quite a few films over the years. Well, I looked up his Wikipedia entry yesterday. Couldn't see anything. Noted a few things, such as that he is only contactable by telephone, and he hardly answers that. And there's just about lots of actors have quirks, and that was interesting. But I didn't find anything relating to this pub. So this website does explain. Well, actually, it's a video. There's this video by I can't remember the name of Rich. Someone interviews Barry Ferns, and I'll put that in the um, description or the comments. Barry Ferns is actually one of the founders of Angel Comedy alongside Sarah Pierce. And wow, there's a lot going on there. And it sounds so exciting. I mean, this is what's happening now. So it's not really the history, which is what I've been looking into. But in this podcast, where Barry Ferns is interviewed, he explains how while he was trying to become a comedian and he was coming up with names, he tried to contact, Bill Murray, using this phone line and to seek permission to be called, for the pub to be called the Bill Murray. And, the actor didn't get back to him, but he had a loophole because, um, there's, a William Murray who was the whipping boy of Charles the First, and, um, he explains what a whipping boy was, which, I remember from school days, I guess. I remember teachers talking about how a whipping kid or whipping boy, I guess, as a rule, was a boy, I suppose, back in ancient history, because the king, when or prince, or I don't know if it was king or prince, in school days wouldn't have been whipped, so he nominated someone else to be whipped, a boy to get whipped whenever he misbehaved and the teacher needed to whip him. So, I mean, that's where the expression whipping boy comes from. But uh, William Murray was an actual whipping boy from back in Richard the First's days. I didn't know that. So, I love finding out new information. Um, and I can't remember much about what happened in school. I mean, I do remember how I was in a mixed school in North Wales, and I remember, say, maths lessons. I really didn't like them in secondary school, upper secondary school level from what would be now year nine or year 10 and going into the O level years, which is now GCSE. Um, tho- those years felt really austere, um, my teenage years. And I remember there was the teacher would pick on certain people. Occasionally, I'd get picked on, but a lot of people would get picked on. But there was one particular favourite he had, and he was a lad who played the trumpet. Yeah, he became he actually, joined the army, or was it the yeah, it was the army, and, played the trumpet there. So, he was very dedicated with his music. Um, but at the time when, he was in school, the maths teacher would pick on him, and he more or less was like a whipping boy, not as in someone, not that someone else would nominate him, but the teacher would just pick on him and get him to bring out his trumpet and play some musical notes, in a way, so the teacher, well, as far as I could see, would bully him, just, humiliate him a bit. Um, and try and get a point across about the maths. It wasn't exactly inspirational, at least I didn't think so. I found it dispiriting watching a classmate being picked on like that. But whipping boy, that's where I kind of associate that with this poor lad. And that's almost like the opposite of teacher's pet. He was like the teacher's whipping boy. So I know a few people in different circumstances who, I mean, I went to school in the 70s and 80s, and there were a lot of practices that have probably been outlawed since, quite a few practices. But getting back to this, the uh, the thing with the William Murray is like they have a fallback. Uh, the Angel Comedy Club have a fallback. I think they've got a picture of William Murray or Bill Murray well, I don't know, there's a few pictures, and I don't really recognise pictures that well. I think there's Rowan Atkinson and some other comedians, large pictures on the front of the pub to signify that this is a comedy club. And there were some people standing outside. So when I went along and I took a photo of the figurines at the top, sort of I think comedy figurines or some sort of signifier that this is somewhere to go along, somewhere attractive and unique and different. Um, and there were people outside waiting for tonight's gig. And at that point, because I hadn't really looked at the website well enough, I didn't realize it. And um, I thought I need to find out who is performing tonight, how much it costs, all that sort of thing. So I didn't explore that any further. But I think I will one day soon because, I've got friends who go to comedy clubs, and this sounds right up their street. And yeah, they also do opportunities to learn about how to be a comedian. So that's something I'd like to do. I'm looking down the list of the people who have been there over the years. Uh, Eddie Izzard, Nish Kumar, the fact that um, oh gosh, Patty Harrison. I hadn't heard of her, but I recognise the film that she's starred in, since she's an actor as well. Um, she was in Together in 2021. I would like to see that film again. Then I will review it. But she's an American LGBTQIA plus comedian, and I found her being interviewed by no, Jimmy Kimmel in 2021 after she got banned from Twitter. Oh yeah, there's a lot. There's always a lot to catch up on. I don't keep my ear to the ground often enough, I guess, but um, there's always opportunities to learn, and every day I'm learning more, and just loving this, finding out about um, places that are either well, this is definitely a queer history place, because it's been at times in the past when it was the Ram. Certainly, according to the Islington's Pride website, was queer owned. I don't know if it's queer owned now or not. I will have to find that out. But they certainly are queer friendly, and they have LGBTQIA plus comedians there. So I'm really excited by this, and they've become. I mean, they do. Um, there's lots going on. I was thinking, wow, there's something every evening, but it's not just every evening. There's often two shows a night, from what I gather. I think that no, there's got to be more than that because there's 40, perhaps 50 shows in a week. So, and the fact that they teach comedy, how to present, they have open mic nights, things like that. It sounds absolutely blast of a place, a brilliant place to visit. So I'm so glad I've checked this out now. Um, so um, that's all I'll say about that at the moment. I need to find out more about its history from when it was the Mucky Pub, when it was the Ram. Before that, to find out more about the history. But the Bill Murray part, that's all I'll say for the moment because I can always post some more, especially once I've got my new channel on Islington's queer history up and running, which I hope to do this coming week. Um, and then I'll be able to say about whether I've been along there or not. So thanks for watching, um, and bye for now.